If you're looking for some really good news, some really feel good news, I got a story for you right here. Check this out. Randomly decided to pay off a school's lunch debt, then something incredible happened. I immediately wondered if this was real. And I can tell you, serving as a principal, as a grade level administrator, couple just last school year, my students were seniors. They were graduating, and so they needed to take care of all of their debts before they could get their transcripts and move on. And so I had to follow up the students, make sure, reminding them, hey, you need to pay this debt, or if you need help paying this debt, let us know so that we can get you in contact with the appropriate people. So the school lunch debt is definitely real. As the author, let me give credit, DJ Bracken, the author here, very good author, loquacious, can paint the perfect picture that you can see with words. But we're gonna get to the meat of it. Says, so I called my local school district because that seemed like the sort of practical thing a reasonable civic minded adult might do. I had no particular plan beyond basic verification. I wanted to know about this school lunch debt. The woman who answered sounded simultaneously surprised and unsurprised that someone would call about this, if that makes sense. Yes, lunch debt was real, she told me. Yes, it affected children in our district. Yes, it was about $88,000 just for elementary schools, just in my district. That's a lot of money. That's a high bill. Wow. And then, almost as an afterthought, she mentioned that Bluffdale Elementary, a school I had no personal connection to, had about $835 in outstanding lunch debt. All right, $835. The figure hit me like one of those rare moments of absolute clarity, utterly devoid of irony or ambiguity. $835 was the cost of preventing dozens of children from experiencing that moment of public shame. I couldn't stop imagining. It was less than some monthly car payments. It was approximately what I had spent the previous month on DoorDash. Wow, that's a lot on DoorDash. And impulsive Amazon purchases. Well, that'll get you to 835. The grotesque disproportion between the trivial financial sum and the profound human consequence felt like a cosmic accounting error. And check this out. Can I just pay for that? I asked, half expecting to be told about some bureaucratic impossibility, which I don't blame the person for assuming that there, DJ. I don't blame you for assuming that. Yeah, there's a lot of red tape in the schools. Sure, she said. Let me transfer you. That's surprising. 2 days later, I drove to the district office during my lunch break from work and handed them a check. The entire process took approximately 11 minutes, during which I felt a disorienting mix of emotions: satisfaction at the immediate resolution, embarrassment at how easy it had been for me, and something more complicated: a dawning awareness of my own complicity in a system I hadn't bothered to notice until now. I feel that with just how easy it was for this person to go in and take care of that debt. We all can do that. I think that's the moment of clarity DJ got here. I wish I could tell you that I immediately founded a nonprofit, that I possess some cinematic moment of purpose where an orchestral score swelled beneath my newfound determination. The truth is considerably less Hollywood ready. I went back to work, coached my basketball team that evening, made dinner for my daughter, and didn't think about it again for nearly 2 weeks. What brought me back was the number 2.8 million. It's such a staggering figure. There's more to the story than change lost between the couch cushions. Families aren't forgetting 2.8 million in lunch debt. People are suffering. So I called another district, then another. I started a spreadsheet, which is what middle class professionals do when faced with a systemic problem. We quantify things as if converting human suffering into Excel cells might render it more manageable. I learned that some elementary schools had thousands in debt. I learned that, contrary to popular belief, most school lunch debt doesn't come from low income families. Those kids generally qualify for federal free lunch programs. It comes from working families who hover just above the eligibility threshold, or from families who qualify but don't complete the paperwork for various reasons, ranging from language barriers to pride to bureaucratic overwhelm. Yes, that is all true. I've seen that happen. A lot of times it's just paperwork, simply paperwork, trying to get a hold of the parents to complete the paperwork so the student doesn't rack up this huge bill. I began to realize the problem is both smaller and larger than I initially understood. It's smaller in that the per school amounts were often relatively modest. It's larger in that the entire structure of how we feed children at school is a tangle of federal programs, income thresholds, paperwork requirements, and local policies, all of which seem designed to maximize shame and minimize actual nutrition. Yes, there is red tape. It's a government program, so it's like we've come to expect that, right? Uh, the Utah Lunch Debt Relief Foundation began not with a mission statement or a business plan, but with a post I shared on social media asking people if they would be willing to chip in, along with the receipt I had been given for Elementary's debt. With a week, I'd raised $6,000. Watch this. That's not all. We're not going to stop there. Within a month, $10,000. It's even more now. The mechanics were almost embarrassingly simple. I would call a school, verify their lunch debt amount, write a check, drop it off, repeat. People seem to find the concrete nature of it satisfying. The specific school, these specific kids, this specific problem solved. And here we have the receipt that our author here, JD, has posted. $835 school meal deficit payoff for Bluffdale Elementary. There you go. $835. All good. And there you see, again, the author's name, DJ Bracken. There he is. All right, now let's keep going on. What I want to get to is I want to share with you what the amount that they have. Here we go. We've now raised over $50,000 in eliminated lunch debt at 12 schools. That's 12 schools where kids don't get their trays taken away, where a basic human need isn't transformed into an object. Lesson about fiscal responsibility, where childhood can proceed with one less vector for shame and stigma. Lastly, I'll sum it up with this. I still don't know if we'll reach our ultimate goal of eliminating all school lunch debt in Utah. I love that goal, though. The statistical probability seems vanishingly small. The system has tremendous inertia. New debt accrues even as we pay off the old debt. And yes, that is absolutely true, because what happens, ladies and gentlemen, as far as I know, schools aren't taking away your tray or denying you food now. And even, there used to be a time where if a student didn't have the money, then they received a meal that was it was different, it was lessened, and it was easy recognizable by all of the other students that, oh, you didn't have money to pay for your lunch. And based on my experience, we don't even do that anymore. We just give the student lunch, put it on their account. And so what happens, and I've seen this happen quite often, where even a high school student who we expect to be a little bit more responsible, well, they will accrue debt each and every day that their parents don't even know about. And once their parents find out about it, they faint, they just hit the floor, because they just couldn't believe that their child, after they gave their child instructions on what to do, and the child just didn't follow the instructions in terms of the paperwork, or whether that be, hey, make your own lunch. You better not go in that line and get anything. So yes, the debt, it continues to accrue. But hats off to DJ here for setting a goal, encouraging other people to get involved. This is good work. This is good work. But I do want to clear that up. I don't think you've got schools taking away trays from students, but it still is good work, because in a lot of these situations, it is difficult for families to pay for the lunch. Even if the families, they don't qualify for free and reduced lunch, it still is a little challenging for them to pay for it. So it is a blessing. It is good work that DJ and his nonprofit are doing and taking care of school debt, school lunch debt at schools in Utah. So this is good stuff, just really good stuff. And this just puts a spotlight on what makes this world a better place. There's a lot of negative news out there, but there's a lot of positive as well. And so when we shine a spotlight on the positive things that are going on, you have a perfect stranger, the author of this article, DJ Bracken. He is a perfect stranger, and he cares about other perfect strangers, and he cares enough to be moved to come out of his pocket and write a check and eliminate debt. That's amazing. That's amazing. So hats off to DJ Bracken, and we'll continue to follow along here and just see what other progress he makes towards his goal. And you know what, I want to see him hit that goal. I believe he can hit that goal if we just get the word out. Yeah, he's gonna hit that goal, and that's something that we're gonna come back here and update you on, and we're gonna celebrate.